Good evening, everyone. We are continuing to discuss the public status and publicity of contemporary art projects and exhibitions. And with us here today, the group Place of Art, Kristina Pestova. Hello.
Hello.
Polina Lukina.
Hello.
And Tatiana Mironova. And also, we are glad to talk today with Natasha Nisik, a French artist and filmmaker. And also, she initiates the platform Crown project. And we are glad to talk to you today.
Thank you.
So I think we can start. And if you can you tell a little bit about the project and how was it started?
So it started almost 1 year ago. As I wrote on the website around, it has been launched around the 21st of April last year. And it has to be contextualized with in France, our first lockdown, which happened at the very beginning of April last year. And I don't know if you had the same, but we had a very strong one, which was like we were not allowed to neither go out, neither even for a walk or just to go for your dog or things like that. And we were also quite afraid, I must say. So even if there was no opportunity to go out, there was also the feeling of being in a new era that we all share in the world. And at that time, I realized very early, and I think earlier than many of my friends and artists around, that we would be isolated, not only through physical borders, but mental borders, that it will come very soon. A time where even if we have internet, we will be in a new world, and I would say a new anthropological world, where all the things we used to do, like share ideas, share emotions, share spaces, all these things that you can't be articulate only through normal words like sentence and image, like we share in a Zoom. All those things will disappear, and I didn't know for how long, but even the fact that we would have this very strong experience for 1, 2, 3 months, the first lockdown, it would be already a weird and strong experience. And on my personal side, I really, all along my artwork and also film works, I've been traveling quite a lot, and my travel were not only social opportunities. They were every time looking for the other, meeting the other, and I would say erasing borders, cultural borders, or trying to erase borders. And the art is one of my means to do that. I use art to be able to encounter the other, another culture, another people, another artwork, and I really felt like I would be like in a sort of a new prison that I never have experienced, and I was wondering what could I do, what were my means, and I immediately understood that the only way, the only public zone or public space or public thing where we would be able to share things would be internet. That will be for a certain time. I could not say for how long. It would be the only way. And that actually, like many of women artists and artists, I had no skill in internet, really, and no wish to have some before. It's not something that I really liked. I mean, it's a research thing, but I took it very differently from all those experiences I was talking about. And I thought we really had to reinvent our relation to this medium, even if it's something which is And at the very beginning, we were not used at the Zoom practice. We discovered slowly. So I had no experience of how things now change, that we are all Zooming together. I felt that we had, as an artistic practice, we had to learn this tool and do our best. And so came very strong the feeling I had to write, writing back into my memory, I would say. My memories was going back to many years of encounters, women I met during all my careers. It may be maybe 30 years old or a few months ago, but women I had strong memory, and I already shared something with, not only just an encounter at exhibition, something stronger, where I already had a talk or share a common experience or a common interrogation of the word, what kind of word we're sharing. And it's how I started to write to all those women I met, to ask them to join me and to start a sort of a conversation. And the crown letter was more like, let's talk to each other in an artistic way. I really wanted it to be different from an email, different from whatever we already had. It must be a gesture, something really artistic, sound, image, video, whatever, but it's something we share artistic. It's part of our very, very fundamental activity. And because I was certain we would be private of any visibility. We won't have any more people watching what we're doing. We won't have no one who would discuss with us in a friendly way. Because another aspect of my project is that in general, as women artists, I think we really suffer from a wide concurrency and a very wide I would say fighting to sustain through the time. I mean, when you're starting, you're young and you have energy and you have, but through the time things are going different. You know the story that many women get children, and everybody knows these things. And I was thinking that with the lockdown, it would be even harder for women, because we all know this, the sentence from Virginia Woolf that we're all looking for a room for ourselves. But when the room is the family room because of the lockdown, where is the room for ourselves? When all this space is going to be used to be this new corona space, which has no intimacy in our inside, where are we going to find the outside? In a concrete way as well as in a symbolic way. And and that was the purpose of the letter. The letter is this kind of space that you can send, you can address something to someone you know, because I knew the friend I was talking to, but I send it to like a bottle on the sea. You send it to people and they receive it, and then whatever happened, it's going to, and that was the very idea, because we would have a kind of occupied intimacy because of the lockdown. You've got your family, you've got your friend, everybody now is in our studio. I mean, the first French lockdown, artists would not even been able to go to their studio if it was different from their house. So it was a real big prison for us. And it's how I started. And as I wrote this first letter, I immediately had answers. It went very, very fast. Immediately had very, very, because it was very friendly and it was coming from a very sincere way, and it was neither competition. It was neither someone who select the work, whatever. It was something very different. It was, let's open that space and let's create that space that has no form, that has nothing, but it's in our hands. And it's a very modest thing because I didn't know how to use the internet. So I had to learn on a tutorial how to make the page. And it took me hours to be able to do the thing. And I'm sorry for the light. So the website has been, I mean, like a childish one, extremely simple because I had no skill at all of it. But I had time because of the lockdown. I had time to spend hours on trying to understand. And this is only the, I would say, the outside thing of the internet. Is also I was quite interested in understanding it's not the right word, but hidden language of it. Everybody knows that if you, I don't know if in Russia you've got the Google thing as a searching thing, but how Google is working out to make your own page appear, how does it go into the deep internet to make it on light or not, such things. And for example, as we did the first pages, the Google didn't find it. You were having our name and it wasn't existing. So I really went into reading how what do you do, what kind of word you have to put into this kind of down internet, which I found very political and very interesting, because it's how you get a certain form of power if you begin to be able to use it. And slowly through the time, how we began to have the letters, and it really helped all of us to have this weekly thing coming. You know, we had nothing, and then suddenly disappearing, and also as it was coming from all over the world, then we had news from. And what was very interesting is at the very beginning, I was at the center of the kind of nets, but very soon the other artists asked for friends to come. So I was not at the center anymore. There were women artists coming that I didn't know, and so there are many of us that I met only through internet. We don't know each other. We have never met in real. And the second thing is, we started very soon, maybe 2 weeks after the first editions. Ruth from England said we should meet each other and do the salon. And the salon are I would say the under part of the iceberg. It's the hidden part of the Crown letter, the Crown project, is that we meet each other from the very, very beginning, every week at the same time. And so we really meet. I mean, it's like we know each other through internet, and we share things, we share time, and we share artistical ideas all the time. We share about our everyday life, our problem as women, our political issues, it goes in a very, very free way, and extremely, I would say, without any control from above. You know, everybody speaks at the same level, and everybody share the same things. And it's really helping. It helped us a lot, because we had a feeling, okay, we share some problems of the artistic scene. We see things from the other side, and we learn other languages. It has been, and it's still working very, very well. Another part was that very soon I had another political idea that we had to learn the tool. I was at the beginning the first one to know how to do the page and how to download everything. And we did some tutorial to let everyone who comes into the Crown letter to be able to do her own page and different things. That's first, not to be alone. That was because it's a lot of work, but also that everyone is able to learn this new tool and leaving a kind of very childish way to behave with internet, is like to receive and without being able to use it in a proper way. That was one of my wish, that we begin more adult with this tool. and it's working quite well too. So I would say it was something different than an experience. It was a very strong wish to build up this community, but in ways that I had never seen before. And I've been seeing exhibition where you're invited by curators or you share things, but there's still a protocol, there's still a hierarchy, there's still something which is more with a frame, or there's a relation with a museum, or there's a relation with an institution or whatever. Here it's out of all those things, and it was the purpose. I wanted something which is that totally out of, but what is very interesting is that we really, we wish to do our best all the time, because there's a quality of relation between artists that you like, artists that you feel like you're sharing the same point of view, and you feel like giving them something beautiful. And it's how the letter went on weeks after weeks, and at the same quality. And I think this is something a little magical. I like very much. It's not a program. It's not a protocol. But it's energy that is there. So yeah.
Thank you. I really like the idea of this free connection and the community that you created. And I don't know if my colleagues have questions connected with this idea. Yes, Christina.
Yes, I have several questions regarding to what you just said, but I think I will start with the first one, because you said that at the very beginning it felt like you needed to erase these borders, because it felt like a kind of a prison for you, because you couldn't travel, you couldn't communicate as freely. But did it like fully fulfill this lack of freedom for you? This new tools that you had, this community that you built, is it really like a new type of freedom, or it is something that is yet to be like discovered and analyzed?
I don't think it would erase any borders we are living. I mean, in a concrete way, we're still in this extremely complex and difficult situation that nobody has the distance to analyze, understand, and whatever, and it brings a very strong difficulty. And I would say the freedom it gives gives the freedoms to have a distance at the time you're projecting something. It helps you in a way to be able to think a little further, and that's precious. And the freedom is also to be able to do it without asking anybody. I mean, to be able to do an exhibition, to find out a space, even a public space you need. I mean, someone to give you the opportunity or whatever. This, to be able to do that kind of mutual reflection is a sort of freedom. I think it's quite important, and it's very rare and important. That's the freedom. I mean, it's not a freedom of borders. It's not a freedom of whatever of the crisis, and it's not a kind of a miracle of suddenly. No, the freedom is to be able at a certain time, and the time you want to, at your own rhythm, to be able to have a distance with your own practice, a kind of reflection, and that you share with others. And that's already for me very important.
Okay, and I think I just wanted to add like the second part of this question, which is I think is somehow connected to the first one, because you mentioned that at some point this community that you built started to grow like enormously. And why do you think it's become so popular? Like, was it this kind of idea that you just described of this freedom and of this reflection that everybody understood and felt, or it is this feeling of a little bit different kind of community, more calm, that actually somehow helped this community to grow? What was the reason, in your opinion?
I think there are many, it's not one reason. I think there are many different, I would say, connections and threads. Maybe it's because there was something at the time we need to care, you know, we need to care more than to judge, or we need, and this was very part of the project, to care of each other. I mean, to be able to listen to be aware of, to take time for this. And in a certain way, all the women who came to the Crown Letter were totally both wishing it and also able to do it. It's able to take time to the others, as well as wishing having times for them. This is a double. So maybe many of us would want it, or had the feeling they would need it at a certain time. So I think it's part of the success. The success too is part of also because of those salons, and the letter itself is it's like having some presence in a way. When we had last week a totally awaited at a salon, an Indian artist that I met 1 year ago who appeared at the salon and talked about what she was doing, and it was very nice to hear about the situation of someone far away and crossing many political issues and whatever. So this is part that suddenly, I would say it's more the border thing. We're crossing this border of curiosity of what's happening. What do we share? What do you live? I think it's part of the success too. And this feeling of a community is very strange, because I really thought of artist friends at the beginning. As I started, I wrote to artist friends or artists I met and I like their work. And the community came from itself. It's not that it's very interesting. We're not saying it's a community and come and join. No, it has been built by itself on its own anthropic movement, which is very nice. And I don't have a very clear analysis of how it is, because it must be very smooth and very open, and you can come and go out, and you know, there's no way. Maybe this idea that you don't have, I would say, there's no economical relation to our time, space, and exchange. It's something very important. It's a kind of anti-capitalist model, I would say, because there's no the time is not counted. We're not saying anything. We're not we are just sharing in a very utopian way, a very simple, intuitive, and gentle way. And maybe that's also the success of it, because there's nothing to propose. We don't propose that at the end something will happen better or whatever. Nothing. No, we share times and ideas, and we meet each other. So that's it.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I want to switch attention to the inside organization of the project, and ask how each week is organized, how the projects that are represented in each week appear there, and do you choose it, or it's like people who send the project this week are there?
I don't choose anything from the very beginning, never. So we have a common Google Drive with weeks, and we open a new week every week, and people send their contribution. We call it contribution, which is whatever, photo, text, video, whatever. And everyone has put her contribution. And we set up the front page with all the contribution, and it's a role. So it depends. Every week it's the same. We change. So, and we at the end of every Monday evening or Tuesday, the front page appears, and it's a discovery every week. We don't know who is going to contribute and how it works, and it's always like wow. And and then we share it, and we post it, and it's like that. It's a very, very easy way to work.
That's very interesting, because when I look through different weeks, I start to find the connections between these projects and these contributions of each week. So it became like a small exhibition where the works are in togetherness. And if my colleagues don't mind, I have another question, and it connects with the previous one. And what I find really fascinating too, that when I look through the project, I have a feeling as if I read someone's diary, and this the feeling of intimacy and this personal. And how this side of the project, this personal side, is connected with the Crown Letter being a public platform. Where are the borders and how it interacts?
I think, the idea is that we realized very soon that we were building a kind of an archive in a different way, an archive of all this Corona time in a general way, and an archive of our own personal Corona time as an artist. You can see on each one has his own page, so you can have these different lectures. And I think the one reason why it's so personal is that we address to each other letters. I mean, we write in that way. We know that there's something very interesting in sending things to the others, and we know each other, I mean, through the meetings. So there's something that we talk. Usually we talk about the letter, what was there and how it has been connected to things that were there the last week, another week. I mean, the feelings we're crossing with, and the relations, and in a very artistic way. So we have this very, very intimate artistic link. And of course it's public. So as a public, you get into this you come into our conversation without being part, but still you have some element of this conversation.
That's great. I like this feeling of being in between, looking at the public project and at the same being inside someone's letter. Maybe
I have a question. Do you have plans, or did you think about transforming this project into a kind of offline format? Because sometimes all these restrictions of our time, our Corona time, will end. We hope it will be soon. And how this feeling and this communication, and at the same time, it's freedom and intimacy, can be transferred into the online format, or it can only exist in this form of our time and our format of internet?
Yeah, it's something we're asking ourselves very often. There was a time where, for example, in France, we had a more open time for the summertime, for example, and I said, do we stop? Does this has a reason to go on? And everybody said, no, we go on because we are still in it. We feel like we still really have to work it out. So it's still working. And I think in a way it's still linked to our period. And there was also the relation about how would it be, how the Crown project would exist without internet, for example. And we've been applying, we've been invited to apply to a biennale in Argentina, and we proposed the project already, where we would present the Crown project, but also make walls of our printings of our Labolero like this. And we would like also to make a film of our long conversation, because it's extremely interesting to see through the time. We've been recording all our salon, and so it's an archive where you can pick up things and build a huge, incredible, interesting artistic evolution of our practices and our position. So there are many ways, and we are always thinking about it. We had an opportunity to do some kind of huge posters on Kunsthalle it was, I think, in Düsseldorf, but it has been cancelled because they cancelled the thing. But we already had prepared, and we will maybe propose something in November for France. So we have some propositions to do things, and we debate, we meet, and we talk about this in a very frankly way, and we found possibilities, and I think that that's quite interesting, because we all artists, so we are used of exhibition in the normal way we used to have before. So it goes very fast, our ideas, and we share. There's a frustration also. Everyone is frustrated from this situation. So I think that every time something comes, like opening a possibility, we all dream of it. So.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe I have another question related to another topic. Usually in artistic projects, museum exhibitions, we have a viewer, a spectator that interacts somehow with the artistic projects. And do you have in your project a special place for the viewer, for the spectator, how he or she interacts or give feedback to your project? Do you receive any feedback?
We had actually, we have subscribers, and people subscribe to the letter. And when we have some Facebook or whatever social media, and people also answer. But we also had some journalists or people who were interested in, and so we have regularly some interviews, and so we're talking. But we have also people who want to come, people that we don't know want to take part of the letter, and then we watch the work, and we see a little bit. So, but it's true that that's maybe the only thing. We don't have a public like in a normal exhibition where you meet everyone and you share that time. It's true that it's more abstract, or it's more disconnected, or it's more fragmented. It's true. That's a little bit different. So we have the subscribers, we have a list of people, we send it, and we don't know who they are. That's a little bit abstract, it's a little bit strange, but there's no way to do it very differently.
Yeah, that's strange how the relations change through the new formats. Do you have questions?
Yes, I think maybe I will ask the last question, I guess, about this period of time, because it's even if it seems like this whole pandemic started not so long time ago, I guess, but it's been a year, and it's been almost a year since you're doing this project. How do you, and while you were speaking, you said that you have this feeling of the like evolution of the project. What's changed? I mean, do you have some kind of thoughts about this project in the very beginning? How did you perceive it? And how do you perceive it now, since it's been going on for a year already?
Yeah. I mean, I must say that at the beginning it was not a project. it was a spontaneous wish to share something. It was not aimed to be a project. I mean, it was a project like abstract, and now of course we have built these relations. It's sometimes I wonder, I say it's very fragile, and it can stop tomorrow. Nobody wants to send anything more, and then it's done, and now it's still going on. And I think what I really learned about this kind of artistic energy in a way, that there is something that we are sharing, is this wish to share a certain representation of the word, to share this kind of very subjective representation of it that we will never find anywhere else. And wow, it's working. So I mean, I don't want to build something much bigger. We might participate to some event, we might, but for every step we will have to build something. We will have to reinvent our relation to what we're doing, because all of us are having their own personal career. Some are exhibiting, some are not, some are spending more time in making a new film and then have less time for the crown letter. I mean, everyone has his own way of activity. And so if we're doing a new exhibition, we're suddenly going to be out in an outside world with the visibility we had. I mean, in this intimacy, we were rather secure. We'll be suddenly out, and it's going to be different, but we will learn from it. And I think what I really do love is the fact that we share this worldwide connection. I think it's so great. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the answer.
I think we will finish now, and I want also to say thank you for this talk and for the project. I think we all, with my colleagues, we all dive in this weekly contributions, and we were really fascinated with this community and the openness of it. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And I said to Natasha, she wants to. I mean, the crown letter is very open, so please share it. And if you want to participate, tell us. And then we are very, yeah, simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your time and your, I'm very happy.
Thank you very much. I think it's an amazing project, and thank you for sharing with us